Hello, I'm JC Inchowski, and I'm here with my friend and Idaho's 2024 Distinguished Jurist, Mitch Brown. And thank you for asking me to help you with this project. I'm honored.
Thank you, JC. To just take a minute and introduce JC. JC is a classmate of mine while we attended law school at the University of Idaho. I consider him one of my best longtime friends and a colleague on the bench. JC has been serving as a justice judge in the 2nd Judicial District for Davis County, state of Utah, since 2016 with distinction. I'm proud to call him a friend, and I'm excited to have him interview me today for this process. Thank you, JC.
So, Mitch, you grew up in Star Valley, Wyoming, and your father was a public defender and your mother was a teacher. Tell the people that are listening how that affected your desire to become a lawyer.
I think my desire to become a lawyer began very early in my upbringing. As you mentioned, my father was an attorney, practiced for over 40 years in the state of Utah. As a young kid growing up in Salt Lake City, I had occasion to watch my dad in his beginnings of his practice. He worked for the Utah Attorney General right out of law school. He had a 2-year private practice in Logan, Utah. And he was one of the founding members of the Salt Lake Legal Defenders Association and served in that capacity for over 30 years. My mother was an English teacher, and she loved reading. She loved history, and she supported my father in his law school days by teaching at Lincoln Junior High School in Salt Lake City. And I always had a love of reading and literature because of my mother, and those two blended well to having an interest and a desire to pursue a legal career.
What's your most fond memory of law school?
I would say it was the overall experience. Going to Moscow, Idaho. I was recently married. Within the year of starting law school, I had been married. I had my first child, and it was just the adventure and the excitement of going to law school, pursuing a career that had been a goal of mine since I was a kid. And I loved the Moscow area. Law school was hard for me. My wife had to work to help support me to go through law school. I worked 2 jobs my first year of law school. And so it was just a time where we were beginning our life together and laying the foundation for our future career and profession. So it was an exciting time for me and my family.
I know that in law school you thought you might follow your father in becoming a criminal defense attorney, but we graduate from law school and you go to the Racine firm in Pocatello and you do insurance defense. What made you make that decision?
Well, first of all, I wanted to secure employment. and as you and I both know, it was extremely nerve-wracking and a lot of tension and nervousness your 2nd and 3rd years of law school as you're out there in that competitive field, interviewing and oftentimes getting rejections and not getting opportunities. I did a little bit of my research on the Racine firm and found out that they were very well respected, and many members of the firm were very well respected. But I never regretted it. I really enjoyed working with the firm. And I did come to enjoy the civil work that I was able to do, and I was able to do a little bit on my own of some criminal defense work. because I really wanted to take every opportunity I could to get into court. So I took criminal defense work and I did domestic relations as I was trying to develop a niche for myself in the firm.
So Mitch, do you remember when I referred clients to you at Racine?
I do.
Okay, do you remember I sent you a public defender that was appearing with me in district court often? His name was Bill Albright. Do you remember him?
I do remember
Well,
that.
well, he was coming to you to get a will drawn up, I think, for his mother-in-law. And he described it to me when he got back from meeting with you like this. He said he walked into Racine's firm and you came into the lobby area because you had those two wings at the time, didn't you, at
Correct.
Racine?
Yes.
Yeah. So you come walking into the reception area. He said you had on a dress shirt, a pair of Levi's, and a pair of moccasins that looked like slippers. And he said, I didn't know who you sent me to when he's talking to me. I said, really? And then he said, and Mitch just kind of leaned over and he said, I'm really sorry, I've got a bad back. And I said, Mitch has a bad back. And Bill said, yeah, he told me it was from carrying you through law school.
I do not recall that, but I won't deny that it happened.
And then you decide to leave Racine and you apply to become a district court judge in Soda Springs. Did growing up in Star Valley affect your decision to want to be in Soda Springs?
You couldn't have picked a better opportunity for me and who I am and where I wanted to be than to serve as a district judge in Soda Springs, Caribou County. If you know the geography of southeastern Idaho, western Wyoming, and northern Utah, Soda Springs is about, as a crow flies, 20 miles from my hometown of Afton, Wyoming. When Judge Harding announced his retirement, I remember going to Mark Nye, who was my senior partner at that time, and I told him, this is my dream job. I want to apply for this job. He was supportive of me. But yes, growing up in Star Valley, Wyoming, and being able to serve in southeastern Idaho was the next best thing to going home.
Do you have a fond memory about being a judge?
This is the pinnacle of my career, is to have been appointed to serve as a district judge for the state of Idaho. I remember like it happened yesterday when Governor Butch Otter called me on the phone and advised me that he would be appointing me to serve as the district judge for the 6th Judicial District with chambers in Caribou County. It's something I had aspired to do my entire life. I have an uncle, my father's brother, that was a small town district judge in Wyoming with his chambers in Lincoln County in Wyoming. And so I had watched him ride the circuit, so to speak, in western Wyoming as a district judge. He later was appointed and became a Supreme Court judge for the state of Wyoming. So along with watching my father in his legal career, I had always watched my uncle Stuart and thought that that would be the ultimate achievement for me. And so that's something that's always been there, that I always in the back of my mind hoped I would have an opportunity to do. And it was a dream fulfilled when I got that call from Governor Otter. So that and that alone, every experience that I've had as a judge is just built upon my appreciation for having been given that opportunity.
So Mitch, as we wrap this up, please share our best wishes with your family and let them know how proud we are of them and the support that they gave you throughout your career.
Thank you, JC. I too would feel ungrateful if I didn't express my gratitude to my wonderful family. I've mentioned my wife and what a wonderful person she is. We were newlyweds when we started this journey. She worked tirelessly putting me through law school, and she's been my #1 supporter throughout my entire career. I want to thank my kids for their support. Oftentimes, when I was a young attorney and a law student, I probably didn't give them the attention and the time that they deserve, and they've been there for me. And they're just, I love them more than I can say, and I just want them to know how much I love them.
Congratulations on the selection as the 2024 Idaho Jurist of the Year.
Thank you, JC. I appreciate it.